Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Nuzla Abdul Halim again, ready to continue on our previous video. As I had said previously, that was my part 1. I'm gonna make the videos into 2 parts. That was my part 1 and this is my part 2. So in case you've just stumbled upon this video right now, please ensure to visit the previous video so that you can get to know how men perceive things, look into some of the facts and the myths and the conceptions of male gender. And now we will be continuing with how female now perceive things, and we will also brainstorm on the myths, the facts, and the conceptions of the female gender onto the male. Stay with me to the end of this video and ensure please to subscribe, like, comment and share, and as you subscribe make sure to tap on the all notification button. So just to begin with, the female gender, the myth of them is that they see men as naturally violent. I mean, the reason why we have misunderstood in this world right now is because the moment you just see a man, you're like, he is a B word. And I think you understand by the B word, these are the kinds of terms being used out there. We all see men, we generalize them by the way that all men are naturally violent. Yet, as a matter of fact, it is, men, they're likely statistically to be the perpetrators of gender-based violence, but not all of them are violent, and they are not naturally violent. They must be having their own issues as to why they're perpetrating them. Okay, there could be some others, maybe, I do not know about it, but maybe they're doing these things for fun, but there could be also other factors as to why GBV is being perpetrated by these men. So that's a myth that needs to be done away with, everyone. Moving forward, it is perceived that for a woman to stay in a violent relationship, that is their own choice. I mean, people forget that staying is not a choice of a woman. It is because of several reasons, including financial dependency, including fear, including shame. Some of us find it so easy to move away from a relationship. You could be you could be financially stable, and like you see your man, like, not the kind of man with the kind of personality that you once met, and so you're like, you know what, let me just divorce you. But when it comes to other situations, there are women who depend on their men. Okay, there are women who lives in a society that holds on to patriarchy like its own heart. You see, so the moment you choose to walk away from your marriage, you are a dead meat. Okay, this could be, I could portray this using the examples of rural areas. I mean, if you look into some tribes, I wouldn't mention them, but like these tribes, they hold it, several tribes by the way hold on to patriarchy. So the moment a woman moves out from their marriage just because of violence, they're always taken back. So not only the tribes, if you look into India as well, it is the biggest shame for a woman to be divorced by his man. I mean, that's a traditional perspective. But okay, currently people are moving on, so these are kind of being diminished. And let's hope it will continue to be like that. So we need to understand that many women stay in their relationships due to fear or financial dependence, or because of their children. There is an instance where you walk out of the life of your man and the man has his love for his children, and he might end up taking care of them. But there are several others that won't do so. The moment you walk out with their children and you work so that you can cater for them. So you see, again, it's also because of emotional manipulation. So we need to understand, we need to do away with the notion that staying of a woman or a man is his or her own choice. Okay, we need to understand the perspectives of these women. Okay, so another myth is that only physical violence counts, and that society validates only visible harm. Not only society, by the way, even the law forces, you know, because the moment you go there, you're like you've been raped or anything, they'll be looking for bruises, you see, or anything that is related to physical violence. See, but when the reality check is psychologically, if you go to a therapist or a psychiatrist or anyone who studies sociology or psychology, they will definitely tell you that violence is not only seen, I mean, it is not only perceptible, you see, but it can also be emotionally, okay? It can also be it can also cause psychological damages, you see. So I think the best way for us to do, okay, we have other people who victim blame themselves, yeah, those people do exist, but honestly speaking, we really need to look into or hear people out so that we can ensure that their violence or their abuse is not silenced to an extent that they choose to keep to themselves and refuse to seek any help. You see, hi again. There is this notion where they say men don't suffer like women do because women are the majority victims. Male experiences get minimized. Okay, from what we said on the previous video, men are perceived as very strong. So the notion comes in that real men cannot be abused, but in the real sense, if you look into it, these men can also undergo emotional, psychological, and even physical abuse. But now, since the ideas of the society takes men as the strongest, and that their masculinity forces them to remain silent, so they end up being mistaken, and they do not only remain to silence only, they also end up being the perpetrators of GBV as a way of unleashing their own angers or their own emotions. And to be honest, this notion is extremely bad for these men, because just because of its existence, when a man tries to speak out, like maybe in a funny way, they just don't go directly into speaking out their issues. They might say it in a funny way. But even when they try to do it so, they end up getting ridiculed. And, and you will be shocked. The mothers are the spearheaders of this thing. You are a man. You're not supposed to be talking like that. You're not supposed to cry. I mean, you're just killing the man. They have some emotions in them. They need to display them. If not to you as a mother or to any loved one, who are they to go to? You see, this violence is, we cannot only blame the man into as the perpetrators of these things. I think we need to blame the society in general. We need to blame all of us. Because why not allow the man to emotionally express himself when it is his right to do so? Isn't he a human being? Yeah? Okay. And now look at this. And from the point where I said physical abuse is perceived as the only abuse towards the women or towards any victim of GBV. The moment now you go to maybe complain about maybe any emotional stress or anything or any GBV, but it should not be a physical one. It should be maybe emotional or psychological or sexual. Sorry. You know what people are being told, or what the family would say? You do not have a bruise, so they're like, you are not hit. I mean, we do not see anything here. You see? Or if you go to your friends, maybe you explain to them, okay, friends, it's bare minimum, but okay, we have toxic friendship as well. But when you go to your friend and then like you show them that I've been sexually harassed by my man or by anyone around you or by any man or maybe a stranger or anything, the moment you walk away, the friend will be like, she's not physically hit. Maybe it's not an abuse. Maybe she is just victim blaming herself. What in the world, man? We need to move on with these kinds of notions. We need to really work on our facts more than work on the myths. Guys, these ideas, these notions can be done away with if we really choose to do away with them. Men perceiving women, women perceiving men in different ways that are very unpleasant or that do not make any sense. If we choose to change and work towards these facts, guys, the number of violence in these states, let me not only talk of Kenya, but generally in this state, we are really going to remove this crime. We will definitely do so. Please, everyone, let us ensure that we work on the facts. And if you hear anyone talking of the myth and emphasizing on it, please make sure to educate them. We do not have to fight over these things. We just need to educate one another. At some point, we don't know what a person's background is. He might be living in a society where patriarchy is now held onto like the backbone of every other person in this world, So what we do is just educate them and ensure that they understand the current perspective. I think that's the best approach that we can do about, so that we can also ensure that people are not hurt. People's ego are not hurt to an extent now they even end up thinking of hurting you or committing a violence towards you. Anyways, everyone, that's it for today. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Please ensure to subscribe, like, and comment. For any comments that you would wish to put across on my videos, please ensure to comment on it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.